folks, Billy Procida here of Procida Funding. Today we're going to play BillyBall. For today's viewing, we're going to talk about the economy, the stock market, where the world is, and what I'm thinking. So let's get right to it. Right now we are in the longest economic expansion in history. We've got a stock market that's got valuations with companies worth billions and billions that by their own admission won't make money for 10 years. We got people making projections talking about artificial intelligence investments that won't pay off for 20 or 30 years. There's no way to measure the value of the stock market. It's now crashed a little bit, came back last year in 2018, did the same thing, but there's no way the market keeps going up. It's just unrealistic to think so. So look, my view, if you're in the stock market, you really want to think about taking your chips off the table completely, particularly if you're a small investor. If it takes a 30% dip like it did in 2008 or in 1987, it takes a lot of years for that to come back. Does it come back? Sure, it always comes back 10 years later, but if you need the money to send your kid to college, take care of your retirement, I mean, you can't afford a 30% drop. And 30% drops are what happen as soon as you have a crash. They're always 30%, it stays there for 2 or 3 years, it takes a while to get back to where it was, and then it goes up again. But it's too volatile, too overvalued, and also, we haven't seen a black swan. We haven't seen an Enron, we haven't seen a Madoff, we haven't seen an MF Global or any of these things in the last decade. And by the way, as we sit here in August of 2019, when do all these things typically happen? In the third and fourth quarter. Go back to 2007, third and fourth quarter, Bear Stearns. Everybody else, Wachovia. Go back to 1987, October 19th. That was the great crash, Black Monday. So be very wary of the month of October. October is never a good month at the end of a cycle. Let's also talk about the real estate market. Here's the good news about the real estate market. We're only building 1.2 million houses a year right now, compared to the 2002, 3, 4, 5, and 6, where we were over 2 million housing units starting every year. So the good news is housing starts, which is the measurement of the real estate market, is way under. We are undersupplied. Now we're undersupplied for a couple of basic reasons. One, we've built on all the land you can build on. Two, if you can find land, you can't get approvals because whoever moved there is now upset and doesn't want anybody else moving there. And number three, if you're lucky enough to get approved, there's a labor shortage in construction. You can't find construction workers. So the housing market actually is very tame except for one area. Look at any major city in the country, there's just way too many cranes in the sky. And those cranes are for super luxury projects, mega projects. In New York here, we only saw 1 or 2 mega projects a decade. Now you've got mega projects are as common as any other project. We probably have got 30 projects in New York over $1 billion, and we probably have a dozen over 2 or 3 billion. It's not sustainable, especially at the end of a cycle. So the good news is housing is fine. The bad news is this will be the first time, I think, that New York City is the first to go and the last to come back, because for the past decades that I've been in this business, 40 years, New York was always the last to go and the first to come back. So we've got to be very careful about what's going on. And the last thing is, at 57 years old, I have never seen a more toxic political environment. I mean, first off, folks, does anybody really think there's anything different between a Republican and a Democrat? It's all one big scam. They're all just trying to get control of the budget to give their friends jobs. I don't trust any of them, which is why I'm a rabid independent. Frankly, I gotta vote. I hate voting because I don't want to vote for 2 people. Give me a system where I have 20 people to pick from. So It's going to be a very interesting time. I hope over the next few months we're going to talk again. The good news is, don't forget, whatever you think, America's still the best place to live, and it's still the best place to invest. So for now, Billy Procida, playing Billy Ball, over and out. Have a nice day.